Hello and welcome back to another episode of DFS UFC for DraftKings. This week we're going to be talking about UFC Russia. A lot of fights starting early tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you get your lineups in early. Let's jump right into it. First fight, Alistair Overeem against Alexei Olenek. Overeem is at 8,900. Olenek is at 7,300. Overeem is a huge favorite here. I'm going to be playing Overeem on a bunch of cards. I think he can win by a finish, maybe a first or second round knockout. These guys are friends. They trained with each other. They haven't trained with each other in a long time, though. I think it's been about 6 years. If Overeem could get that first or second round knockout, you're probably looking at around 100 points. And that's what you want. As a reminder, we're looking to get about 100 points per selection for these GPPs that you want to enter, like the one that I'm looking at right now, which is a $15 entry. And I think it's $25,000 to first place for this one. With Olenek, these guys are both super experienced. I think that Olenek has something like 45 finishes. Such an incredible number. He's taking this fight on short notice. It's in Russia, so he has a little bit of he definitely has a home field advantage, but I just think it's going to be too much for him. I think Overeem is going to be too much for him. So my prediction for this particular fight, Overeem by first or second round finish. Olenek, I think his path to victory is to try to sub him, get him down to the ground, and maybe sub him. He's fought Mark Hunt. He's beaten him. He's beaten Travis Brown. Both guys are kind of at the tail end of their careers. He lost to Curtis Blades by TKO. So, yeah, Overeem here. Next fight, Marcin Tybura against Shamil Abdurakhimov. Probably going to play Shamil in a couple of cards. I watched the weigh-ins today. Marcin, he's got some pretty vicious leg kicks. I think that Shamil, if he could avoid those high head kicks, he could he can win the fight. Shamil probably I'll have in a couple of cards. Tybura, again, he's another guy. He can knock out Shamil as well. It's a toss up with this one. Tybura could definitely also win by TKO or a finish. So yeah, this is a real tough one. But if I'm going to play anyone, I'm probably going to go with the cheaper guy in Shamil, since it's really close to a 50-50 fight. Next fight, Pavlovich against Gom. I think Pavlovich is a pretty big favorite. He's probably going to win the fight. Gom is a live dog, though. I wouldn't rule out Gom completely. I think he is a live dog. So if you're going to play anybody in this one, it's probably, for me, it's a tough call. I'd probably say Gom. If you're going to play multiple cards, you can play him as a punt, maybe in one. But I think Pavlovich probably wins this fight. And I'm going to predict that Pavlovich probably wins the fight by maybe first round KO. So, yeah. Okay, next fight, Shevchenko against Modafferi. Shevchenko is a very big favorite here. Modafferi, huge underdog. I'm a fan of Roxanne. I just don't see how she really can win this fight unless she gets it to the ground. The problem with Roxanne getting it to the ground is that she really doesn't use her wrestling all that much. You can see in her last fight against Eubanks, um, she had one takedown, um, and her last previous 3 fights before that, she had a total of 3 takedowns. She's going to need to do a lot more against Shevchenko to win this fight. So yeah, I think that we're looking at Shevchenko probably by a decision. I'm not liking that price tag for her. She is 7-0, but none of them are by finish, and all by decision. So, I mean, I think you're looking at probably a max of 70 to 90 points, assuming she wins by decision, which I think she will. So, yeah, that's where we are with that one. This next fight, Jotko against Amedovski, that's a really interesting fight. I like Amedovski as a dog here. He's definitely a live dog. I'm going to be playing him in a card or two. And Jotko, he's a highly rated, up-and-coming lightweight. He's lost his last 3. He's definitely, he could definitely win the fight. But again, this is for me as a 50-50 fight. And in a 50-50 fight, I'd probably rather just take the dog. So my play here would be Amedovski. Next fight is Alexander Yakovlev against Alex Da Silva. Da Silva's 20-1. I watched the weigh-ins. Yakovlev is bigger than Da Silva, but I think the play here for me is Da Silva. I like his price tag, and I think he can maybe finish Yakovlev. So the play for me here, this one is going to be Da Silva. Yakovlev is another guy, by the way, who really doesn't fight all that often, which is something that's also turning me off about him. I think he's just fighting here, cards in Russia, and he wants to get on the card. I understand that he's actually got an aspiring rapping career, or fledgling rapping career. Next fight that we're going to look at is a really interesting fight. I think you got to have both pieces on this one. Is Mikhail Olkasichik, who's the favorite, against Antigulov. Antigulov is going to need to get this to the ground to win the fight. I watched the weigh-ins. I think that both fighters look really game. They're going to go at it. I like Mikhail here to win the fight, but I'm definitely going to have Antigulov in a card or two as well as a punt play at $7,400 because he has a path to victory with the wrestling. But my prediction here will be Mikhail probably by a 3rd round knockout. Next fight is Islam Makhachev against Arman Tsarukyan, who's the cheapest on the card at $6,800. The kid is actually a really good up-and-coming fighter. He's making his debut in the UFC with a really tough fight against Islam, who's a very good wrestler. He's being coached by Khabib's father. I think Islam wins this fight, but I'm not loving this price tag, and I probably will even have Arman on a card as a punt play, just in case, because he is a very good fighter. I watched the weigh-ins today. Islam is a little bit bigger, so probably Islam will win this fight by decision. Next fight is Nakamura against Aliyev. I think Nakamura is probably the better fighter, but they're in Russia, which makes it a little bit more difficult for him to win a decision. And you can see his last 4 fights have all been by decision. He's not a big DraftKings point scorer, which makes me feel like I want to fade Nakamura for 2 reasons. He's going to need to win by a submission, probably. I think his specialty is a rear naked choke. Or he's probably going to lose this fight. On the other hand, Aliev, um, you know, he's probably not going to score a lot of points either. So, but he's capable of winning a decision if it gets to the cards. So if I'm going to play either one of these two, it will probably be Aliev. Next fight, Magomed Mustafayev. Sorry for these name pronunciations. I'm terrible with them. Against Rafael Fiziev. Fiziev is definitely a live dog here from my research. Um, Mustafayev, um, also tough fighter. I think this is a 50-50 fight. With 50-50 fights, I think certainly that makes Fiziev at 7,700 someone that you want to consider as a live dog punt. So I'll definitely have him in a card or two as a punt play. Last fight that we're going to look at is Evloev against Choi. Evloev is a fantastic grappler from my research. He's going to need to get this fight to the ground. I think he will. I think he will win this fight either by a ground and pound submission finish or a decision. Choi is bigger than him. I was a little bit surprised at the size difference at the weigh-in, but Evloev, if he can get it to the ground, he should win this fight. So my preferred play on this fight is going to be Evloev at $9,100. That's about it. One of the fights that I was really looking forward to, I just found out was postponed, was Ivan Straikov against Devin Clark. I'm not sure why it was postponed, unfortunately, because I had Ivan on pretty much every card that I was going to play. I was really high on him, so I'm really disappointed that fight's been postponed, because that fight and the Evloev fight were those and Alvarin were three of my main cornerstone fights. So yeah, that's it, guys. Don't forget 10 a.m. Eastern time, so get those lineups in. Good luck. Let's get it.